Hello, a few thoughts regarding variations on Willie Coleman's jig. So the first level of variation when you're playing a whistle, of course, is that you need to breathe. So we'll come to that. The next thing you want to think about is never losing the tune, of course. We're not going to go be varying the architecture of the melody. You just want to kind of lean away from the melody a little bit to take the phrases in the tune that are most commonly played. So we'll start with those. There's that opening phrase. So those first three notes, that couple of things you can do there. One is I just did one which is getting in, so you got B on a quarter note and then the G. One is getting into that note. So I'm pretty fond of that. Probably do it too often. I'll kind of. Now I did two things there. One was leaning in, that. So I'm also. So you can go, which is just playing it straight, which is nice. You don't have to mess with it to make it sound nice. Just, but you can then lean a little bit. That. So I've got that little grace note on the. Now I'm putting that grace note in the middle of the A, not before it, so I'm not like hitting the A before it, so I'm not going. So I'm not playing a little, what would that be? So I'm not playing a B or a C before the A. I'm hitting the A and then making a cut. So you get kind of a tiny little triplet in there. So that's a lot going on with just those three notes. The other thing you can do there is you can go, right? So you can take that quarter note on the B and think of it as kind of a closed package, and you could open up the package and see what might be inside. So you can take that and you can go, you open it up and go, oh, there's an A. Instead of the B, there's a B and an A. Or you could go, this probably won't work, but I'm going to try a B, D, G. I don't like that too much. It's calling a little too much attention to itself, but in some context, it might be nice. So I'm getting a little farther afield than I wanted. The other one is, that's the most obvious one. That's the one we started with, where you have to take a breath as a whistle player. So that's that opening phrase. That phrase gets repeated a lot in this tune. So maybe I should play the A part of the tune so we can see how that might work. But first I'm going to look out on the lake, and you could probably hear the wind in the trees blowing. We'll see how it behaves with the whistle here. So I'll start off by playing the phrase straight. Second time I hit it, I took a breath. So the last time I hit it, I did something completely different. That instead of the quarter note of the B, I opened up that quarter note, and instead of an A in there, I found a G. So I can go. Or, I really like that B, G, G. I don't know. I just like it. So that's all kinds of things you can do with just those first three notes because they get repeated so often. Another variation that is very easily overdone by me in this tune is the B, C natural. You can use it in a couple of different ways here, not just as a triplet, but it also works well as 2/16 notes into an eighth note in a couple of places. So let's try that in the, I'll look for that opportunity in the A part here. So. Okay, so I introduced a couple of other ideas there. Another phrase, this would be in bar 7 of the A part that gets played a lot is that. So that's bar 7, I'll play 7 and 8. So that E, D, B. This is another variation. You can try it, see if it feels good, see if it sounds good. And in a jig where you've got three notes, if the first note and the third note are the same, pretty good chance you can roll that now and again and have it sound nice. Every now and then, you can just roll that first note. So I'm kind of folding that, what was that? That's a E, D, B into a package and calling it an E. Music theory point of view, those notes are in a chord, actually in a couple of different chords. So you're basically saying that's the tone or that's the chord that I want to play there, and you're erasing the D and the B. So I'll start with bar number 6. So. So that's kind of the other phrase in this section that I tend to vary. Now, if you were listening closely, you would have the other thing that gets repeated a lot is the ending bar. So the opening bar, ending bar get repeated a lot. So let's talk about the ending bar of the A part. It sounds more complicated than it is. I hope I'm not making it sound complicated because it's pretty simple stuff. Well, it becomes simple once it is, if that makes sense. So that couple of ways to play that phrase. One is just to hold that G, that sounds lovely. Another is to introduce that A as a lead note to get back into the phrase. So. And another way is to take that A and play it as 2/16 notes, a G A. So I'll slow that down. Okay. Another way to play that is, we're all just playing really with that last note, that G, is just to roll it. Sorry. Come on. Play that one more time. So I'm just trying to roll that last G. So there's, one more way that I'm fond of, which is a little farther off what's the note, so it calls a little more attention to itself. That I'm going to go G, so I'm going to take that G and kind of open it up, and I'm going to play a G, D, G. So if you do that variation there, into that other variation of the opening bar, the BGG. I like that. That. All right, so now let's look at the B part. Same thing. You're going to look at the phrases that are most commonly played, that opening phrase, that opening G, sometimes played or so I'm playing to that opening phrase can be played G, F sharp G. It can play G, breath G. You can roll it. You can play quarter note, eighth note. And you can also, to get into it, those are all ways you can just play around with just that opening moment. So we'll go through the tune just using those and also tossing in some of the triplets we talked about. So in the B part, I mentioned that that B, C natural, D can be played as a triplet, but there's also a couple of places where it's really 2 16th notes and an eighth note. So we'll come to that. So I'll just play through. Now there was a fair amount going on there. I'll talk first about that last one. I put in a C sharp. That phrase, this is the 7th bar, which typically goes. You can go. I really like that C sharp there. But you can also go. So there's a bunch of ways you can have fun with just that phrase that right there. You can roll that, although I don't really like it when I do it. I might love it when somebody else does. All right. So we've treated that opening G, that or so lots of ways, just that one moment that you can have fun with it. Now another one that I did, this would be bar number 4, was so that phrase would normally be, let's see, or no, that was too much. But so what I'm doing there is that again, that's a bit much. But so I'll play through the B part again. So. Nope. Oops, there's another one. This is the This would be what, the second bar of the A part. So you kind of get into the B part. So instead of as the opening notes of the second bar, that's a lot. And again, hopefully I haven't made this too confusing, because that was the main point is to just have fun, right? And that these kinds of variations of just taking a note, a dotted quarter note such as a G, and kind of opening it up and seeing what's inside can be really fun. And then when you do that and you open it up, it will often be asking or suggesting that you make some subtle variation farther down the tune, like that note that ya da da dum. There's something else there that I'm hearing that I'm not quite finding at the moment, but that's beside the point. So just have fun. Those are some thoughts. I hope this is hope it's helpful. And let's see if I can get the computer to tell me what to do. Here we go. All right. From Maine. I don't know if this will work, but we'll see if you can look at the lake. Yeah, it's nice. Bye-bye.